Давай сними чертов мешок с его башки. Итак, еще дубль. Знакомство. Аджай Гейл, наш дорогой гость. И эта обезьянка, как зовут, увы, не знаю. И, наконец, я, Пейган Мин.
After FarCry 2, FarCry 3 was like work on mistakes. The game became bigger. There were more challenges, more missions, and looks like FarCry 4 goes the same way. But well, we are people who really enjoyed FarCry 2, and we really enjoyed the more serious story. I know that the game was more serious. Yeah. So what can you tell about the FarCry 4? Is it more in the same way as FarCry 3? I know, or there is some seriousness to the game.
It's absolutely in the same vein as Far Cry 3. We took everything that the player liked about Far Cry 3 and we just wanted to expand on that and make it bigger. In a sense, we could say that we got some influence from Far Cry 2 back in the game a bit in terms of freedom. I think Far Cry 3 in the open world you had a lot of freedom, but during the mission I think sometimes people felt that you were a bit too constrained and that you were forced to play in a certain way. And that's something we listened to fans and that we changed in Far Cry 4. And in the mission you have a lot more freedom on how you want to approach the mission and how you want to play, but also choices that you have to make. A bit like in Far Cry 2, I guess. When you accept the mission, you can accept the mission from different people, and that will change the way the mission is played. That will change the way the outcome of the mission and eventually the ending of the game as well.
I see. Well, from Far Cry 4, there are more people who wait for that this will become more serious. We mean that, for example, in Far Cry 2, there was a moment that your comrade, the one with who you play, can save your life, can, I don't know, remove the bullet from your wound. Is there that kind of serious moments in the game?
You have these kind of moments, but I guess there are more because now we have co-op, two-player co-op in the open world. So all the outposts, all the side quests, and all the radio towers, and all that content can be played with a friend. So at this point, the game is not telling you the story anymore. It's the story of you and your friend playing together at this point. So if you guys are really serious on how you play, I guess you can say that your buddy saved your life, and grabbed you by the hand and saved you, and then that tiger was coming, and it can be very dramatic. But if you're more the type of player that likes to mess around and just set turtles on fire and just shoot everyone, that can be your story too. Again, it's all about freedom. We let the player make out their own little story with their friends.
Well, while we're speaking about co-op, I want to clear something. For example, on PlayStation 4 there is speech which called Key to Karat, right?
Yeah.
Keys to Karat. There are 10 of them. So it's each key for a 2-hour session, right, of the game with friends.
Yeah, that's right.
But I was interested, for example, if you can give all of them to one guy.
No, it's one key per person. So it's 2 hours, but that 2-hour session can be divided up in smaller sessions if you want.
Oh.
So you can play half an hour and then come back and play an hour and a half. And you can do it in different sessions with even different people if you want to play an hour with a friend, play an hour with another friend. So yeah, it's really to give you a taste of the game. Let player try out. Not everybody has played Far Cry 3, so for these people they can try out Far Cry 4, see if they like it, and if they like it, they can buy the game after that.
By the way, the app for the Keys of Karat, is it bigger size? I mean, if someone enjoys the game after playing with friends, will he download another version of this? He should delete?
No, he should not delete. You can just unlock the game and go right away in the full game.
So it's that way.
Yeah.
Okay. We already talked about that the Far Cry 3 looks like a lot like Far Cry 4. Or, sorry, another way around. But can you name us, for example, 3 main features which differs it from the previous game?
Yeah, well, I'm a level designer from my point of view, working on Far Cry 4 compared to Far Cry 3, which I work on is first of all the diversity of the environment. Far Cry 3 was pretty much, the whole island was pretty much jungle, but now you can go from with the Himalayas. There's so much height difference that you go, from the bottom of the valley with the rivers and a lot of like very lush and dense vegetation, and then you start going up. A bit like we see here, like starting to see a bit more colors in the tree, and then you keep going up, and then it's more like dry bushes and a lot of rocks, and then all the way up to the mountain where you have snow and blizzard. So you really have that feeling when you move around in the world of these different climates and different zones, and even all of them have their own sort of architecture. We found that by doing research. We did a lot of research on countries around the Himalayas, and down in the valley they have a lot of wood growing, so they will build their house out of wood. If you start going up, they don't have a lot of wood growing around, so they'll keep that wood to make their fire and cook the food, and they will build the houses more like out of stones and other materials they can find in the region. So you really get that sense of different pockets and climates, and even like economy layer. People don't live from the same type of resources in different part of the country. So like after you've played a bit of the game, you will sort of not even have to look at your map to know like in what region you are. Just by looking around, you'll know exactly, I'm in the north part of the game, or I'm like more in the middle part. Like that makes it very interesting. Verticality as well on the gameplay level really changed the way you navigate the environment as well. We have a lot more mountains and cliff, and for us to make that fun and not make it like you run into a wall and there's nowhere to go, we had to add new tools for the player. So we have the grappling hook that you can use to climb the cliff. The wingsuit is back from Far Cry 3, and you get it a lot earlier in the game right now. So it's very good fun to glide around. We have air vehicles as well, the glider and a gyrocopter that you can fly around. And the driving is really improved as well, like moving around the world. The roads are very interesting, a lot of cliffside roads, like very dangerous roads. And you can now drive and shoot, so any one-handed gun that you have, you can use them as you're driving. So you can throw grenades, shoot guys, do drive-bys, and you can perform takedown from vehicle to other vehicles as well.
Let's talk a bit about the story. For example, after Far Cry 3 came out, I think it was after 2 weeks. In Russian social nets, which called ВКонтакте, there was a lot of memes and pictures of us. People really love this kind of guy, this kind of not hero but character. So is there something like this in Far Cry 4? For example, Pagan Minky looks like, it's a very interesting evil man.
Yeah.
So besides him or about him, is there some kind of charismatic character in Far Cry 4?
Yeah, absolutely. We know people love Vass for sure, and we wanted to make him really, I think in order to make him interesting, he had to be very different from Vass. And we went for like very, very different character. Vass is very aggressive, very, pragmatic and furious, but Pagan Min is a bit more like a snake. Like he's sort of very psychological, and he tries to manipulate you, and he's also, he really likes to show off. He likes his own image. So you'll go around in the world, you'll see like giant golden statue of him with spotlight, lighting the statue. You will see propaganda poster with his face everywhere. Even he has his face printed on the money, and he love that stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm the boss here, and he's very he likes to show off. And under him, he has like other sort of lieutenant or commanders that are other character that we haven't revealed yet. But yeah, he has a lot of interesting character around him, as some sort of sub bad guys.
By the way, can we talk right now? What is the reason our main hero is Geralt?
The main reason, I don't know. It was in Far Cry 3. Some people thought that it was a bit you know, Jason Brody was a bit of a douchebag that came out of nowhere and stuff. And you know, it wasn't intentional on our part to do that, but we certainly listened to fans' feedback, and we wanted to make it different. And I think it in a way, like Jason, AJ, because he's not from the country. Well, he's from the country. He was born there, but he didn't live his life there. He basically comes back for the first time in the country, and he discovered that his family name has like a lot of legacy, and that people like discovered the story of his parents that founded the rebellion and etc. So as the player, you experience Kirat for the first time at the same time as the character, as AJ Gale. So there's an interesting connection there where you, because in a first-person game, you don't really play like, you play, some players think they play as themselves in a way. So we try to make the main character not as loud, and he doesn't talk as much as Jason Brody did. I think we understand that in a first-person shooter, we give a lot more space to the other characters, because these are the one you will see on screen. You never see your own character on the screen in a way. So that's why I think also there's so much focus. And on the cover of FarCry 3 and the cover of FarCry 4, you see the antagonist. That's because that's the guy you see. You see him more often than your own character.
Okay. This is probably a technical question. Any plans for cross-platform co-op? For example, like PS4 and PS3?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think so. I know, although, that the keys to Kirat are cross-platform, so you can, even if you have the game on PS4, you can send the key to a friend on PS3, and you will be able to play the game on PS3, you know, with other people on PS3 as well. You will get to try out for 2 hours, but you will get to choose to ally on different sides, and that will change the way the mission plays. You will have different objectives in the mission, and the outcome of the mission will be different as well, and the world will change. And we have, like, I think at least 5 or 6 different endings for the game.
Okay. Speaking about the PS4 version, we are interested how you use the special features of the PS4, like there is a microphone, there's a joystick, and we have a touchpad, so you realize somehow the gameplay.
I don't think we do have anything specific. I mean, the game is on so many platforms. No, I don't think there is anything specific. Well, you have the share play, obviously, on the new on the next gen console, which is interesting. I'm really eager to see what kind of video people will release, because on Far Cry 3 we're not expecting to see that much live streaming and videos of Far Cry 3, and people came up with just random stuff they would do in the open world, and really like basically share their own little story, like of what happened to them when they were playing around. And now that we have co-op, I think that's going to make up for even crazier stories. So I'm really eager to see people sharing their little moments in Far Cry 4.
And the last question is, after Far Cry 4 is released, I know that you usually say that you don't have any plans, but for Far Cry 4, but we really enjoyed Blood Dragon.
Yes. So
is there a possibility, at least?
I mean, we don't close any door. Nothing is planned yet, and nothing is announced. But I can. We don't have any Blood Dragon planned right now. But never say never. We might see another one in the future. I would love to see one, because I worked on Blood Dragon.
You're interested in it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then everybody who worked on the game had so much fun, because it was so crazy and you know, a very self-aware like kind of humor in the game. So yeah, I would love I would work on another Blood Dragon anytime.
We'll be waiting. So talk to us, please.
Maybe we'll be in Siberia, Russian Siberia.
Wow, it will be even greater. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Вокруг есть крайне недостойные люди. Сучьи террористы разрушают все. И я призываю вас, жителей Кирата, взять пример с меня и увидеть в этом благо. А еще говорят, что я далек от народа. Со мной Аджай Гейл. на помощь. Кто же зовет на помощь смс-ками? Надо было кричать. Помогите! Давай всерьез. Помогите! А диафрагмы! На помощь! Помогите! Послушаем. Не. Друзья за тобой не придут.